Happy Thursday. Listen, you know what day it is? Do you know what day it is? It is Thankful Thursday. What do you mean? You've been following me for this long? Or maybe you haven't. Okay, well, if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back for more, welcome back. Listen, you know how we do it over here. Okay, for those of you who've been rocking with me for a minute, Katrina Marie here. We are live daily for the next 90 days, Monday through Friday, doing our daily dose of vitamin D3. And since it is Thankful Thursday, you know, every day I have a theme. So I figured we are going to talk today about, what'd you say? Oh, okay. You don't want to guess? All right, no problem. I'll tell you. We're going to talk about the power of words, the power of words, the power of words. Listen, I love the power of words. I believe in it so much. It has totally transformed my life since I was young. I have literally manifested everything I ever wanted in life through the power of words and believing those words with all that I am, with all that I have within my soul. Okay? So if you are another believer of manifestation and mindset work and all of that, then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it today for the daily dose of vitamin D3. So that is the name of this series. And so let's go ahead and talk about why the power of words is so important. It literally can transform your life. And do you know why? Do you know why there are people like myself and perhaps you and those around you who are entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial thinkers, right? Business owners, and even just day-to-day people that you may know who choose a word of the year every single year. Do you notice that? And so I know a lot of people for this year, 2025, people went with the word thrive. Okay, and thrive is a great word to go with. In fact, I was going to go with that word myself until I learned that a lot of people went with that word. And I'm one of those people who, when they zig, I zag. I like to go the opposite of everybody else because I don't like to be the same. I really pride myself on being unique. So you have to go into deep thought and really reflect on your life and what's been going on in your life and your business and other aspects of your life in order to really get deep with those words so that you can decide if words are going to have power over your life and drive you forward. You're going to have to figure out what is the word that you're going to be intentional about. Because here's the thing. The reason why words are so powerful, especially when you're thinking about choosing a word of intention, is because it gives you clarity. Okay. It gives your brain clarity. It keeps you focused on your goals. It makes sure that you stay in alignment with your goals, and it gives you that guidance you need as you are being pulled towards the thing that you are working for, that you are striving towards. That big goal, those big dreams, the big aspirations you have. This is what you need to do in order to keep that momentum going. Okay, so if you can be anchored into a word, deeply anchored into that word, then every decision you make, every solid decision you make, every action you take towards that goal, towards those dreams or that dream, right, towards your aspirations, that word will keep you driving towards that thing. Okay? So like I said, I use thrive as an example because I think a lot of people chose it simply because it rhymes with 2025, thrive in 2025, but we're not doing that over here. No, I'm going to give you some real practical tips and exactly how you can choose the word of the year for yourself. Okay? How can you choose the word for yourself for this year and not just go with what everybody else is doing? We don't want to do what the masses is doing. We want that word that we choose for ourselves to be meaningful to us. Okay? So if the word thrive doesn't really mean anything to you, or it's just a word you just kind of picked out of the sky, that's not going to be helpful to you, right? So words are, when I choose my word for the year, and I've chosen words for the year, for the past at least decade, And this year I'm actually doing something different. I'm doing something where I have a framework of words because each word means something, okay? So, in other words, like, say for example, I chose thrive, since we're going to stick with that word for now. I would then say thrive is an acronym for a particular thing, right? Each letter means something. So you might want to do something like that as well. But there's a whole dictionary of words, right? The whole we have so many words that you could choose from. So again, you just want to reflect on what like this is what I do, okay? And you can kind of go through this as well, this whole process. And I won't go the long route to get you here. I'll just take the shortcut right now and just give you a couple of quick steps. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I'll give you a couple of quick steps on practical tips of what you can do or what you can consider incorporating into your own practices to help you come up with your word if you're kind of like stuck like, I know people do this, but I don't exactly know what word to use or how do people come up with the words, right? We want to be intentional about everything we do. If we really want to get to those big goals and dreams, we've got to be intentional. We cannot haphazardly just decide this is the word and then, because guess what? Then that word means nothing to you and you're not going to do the things that are necessary to get you closer to that dream. Okay? So, let's just say, for example, if you chose the word thrive, let's say that really is your word. Okay? Everything you decide, you've got to be asking yourself the hard questions or easy questions. Maybe it's easy to answer for you. Is this going to move the needle for me? If I do this thing with another person, with a partner, if I do this collaboration, if I go to this venue or this event, if I participate in this thing over here, if I whatever, if I take this job, if I start this business, whatever that is for you, whatever comes up, you've got to ask yourself the question, is this going to help me thrive? Is this going to help me thrive? Or is this just going to keep me like barely surviving, barely alive? Because if it's not going to help you thrive, and that is your word of the year, and we're being intentional, and words have power to transform our every aspect of life, why would we choose to do that thing? Do you see what I'm saying? So make sure that the word you choose, you're going to really be intentional about your actions, your behaviors, and be clear on your core values. I'll do a whole nother video separate from this about core values, but be in alignment with that. Be really crystal clear on your core values, because that is also going to be a part of, what's in alignment with the words you choose and the actions you take, towards your dream or your goal, right? Now, let me get back to sharing with you how I go about choosing my word. And this is just a couple of things. This is not everything I do. But for me personally, I really get into deep meditation and prayer because I really like to for me, it's about getting that divine download, that I call it divine download from God. Okay. So if you're a spiritual person like I am, you don't have to be religious, but if you're a spiritual person like I am, that might be something that you can do too. Because I like to get still, to get quiet, to be silent, and just receive the message that I get from God, okay? Because He's my creator and I like to live in divine purpose. I like to do everything with purpose and meaning. And so the only way I can get those words and that message from Him is if I'm still, and so I can get crystal clear and then be laser focused. But I also do like to journal. Journaling about reflecting on what's occurred in the past year, look back at my goals and ask myself questions like, okay, if if I don't have my word yet, and even if I do, I will still ask myself the question, just to be sure this is the word that I want to go with. Did everything I do last year work? Did I fail in some areas? Did I win in some areas? Where did I succeed? What could I have done differently? What could I have done less or more of? Did I reach my goals? Are some of the goals that I set for myself still lingering, and now I'm going to have to tie up loose ends and finish up unfinished business this year? In comparison to my goals this year, are those still goals that even matter to me? Are those goals that I set for myself still tied to the ultimate bigger goal, the dream, right? If not, I might want to reconsider what my goals actually are, and are they in alignment still with my core values? How important is what I have written on paper from my goals last year relevant today? Or is it as important to me today? Because if not, maybe it needs to come off my list. Maybe I need to, put it on the back burner for a minute. Maybe I need to shift some things around to make it happen if it is important for me. Maybe I'm not connecting with the people who can help make it happen for me. Maybe I didn't reach those goals because I really wasn't doing what I needed to be doing, because I, had a lot of distractions going on, or I allowed for a lot of distractions, and I kind of got off the beaten path, and I kind of forgot to look back at what my goals were to realize I wasn't even working on the thing that I said I wanted to work on. So how important is it really? Okay, I will compare those goals in that list of things and kind of reflect back on my life, review my last year, and look at my year now. Look at where I am right now. After that whole year's time has gone by, where am I now? And where is it that I ultimately desire to be? And then once I know where I ultimately desire to be, what do I need to shift in my mind and as far as from my perspective? What actions do I actually need to take? Who do I need to know? What rooms do I need to be in? Whose elbows do I need to rub, right? What key players do I need to get with? What collaborations do I need to make? How can I actually get there? Now, when you think of all of that, you get a bigger picture, a fuller picture. And you're then able to say, well, here are the words that are coming up for me, because these are the emotions I'm feeling as I'm thinking about these things. So maybe your word is thrive. Or maybe you say, you know what? I want my life to be bountiful. I want it to be blessed. I want to feel abundant. I want my life to be about clarity. I want my next year to be intentional. Do you see? Because if you know last year you weren't intentional, and in order to get to your goals and dreams this year, you will need to be intentional, maybe that's the driving force. You know what? I did a lot of things that I didn't really need to do. Or I stopped paying attention to the details of what I did need to do to actually move the needle, because I wasn't very intentional. Like I said, I wanted to have these goals. Right? I said this is where I wanted to be by the new year now. And since half of the things on my list didn't happen, then that tells me more than likely I wasn't as intentional as I needed to be. So this year, my word of the year is going to be intentional. Everything I do needs to be intentional. So then that can become your word. Do you see what I mean? So that's sort of the process that I go through in order to decide on what the actual word of the year is. Now, like I said, there's a lot more that goes into it. I gave you 3, 4, 5 quick tips, but these are practical solutions that you can actually take